And here we go. It's one of those mornings, right, Tim?
Yeah.
I am with my favorite editor of Florida Today, and we're going to discuss my latest article. So we're going to dissect it, and we're going to see if you suffer from seasonal gratitude. So fasten your seatbelts. Time to learn and grow. Right, Tim? It's time to dance.
Absolutely.
Here we go. Oh, there we go. The Muppets. Right here waiting for you.
This is the place you can always turn to when you need a friend. The Lillian McDermott Show. To reach out to Lillian, visit her on the web at whenyouneedafriend.com. Now let's all learn together. Here's Lillian McDermott.
Hello, my listening friend. It's so nice we can meet each other on the air on this beautiful, best day ever. And for those of you who are new to the Lillian McDermott radio show, the purpose of the show is to provide a safe place where you can go to when you need a friend. It is my commitment to provide alternative ways to heal, and it is my mission to make awareness, responsibility, and truth a part of our everyday life. And I hope you, my listening friend, will feel empowered to learn a new truth and embrace the life of your dreams. Now, today we get to dissect my next article on the Florida Today. And as always, joining me, my favorite editor, and I also call him a Swiss Army knife. He's the creator of Daddy Duty. You can check him out at Florida Today and check out his name, Tim Walters, and learn if you are a new daddy. He is chronicling, he is journaling his growth with his little girl, Isabella. And so since it is our sole purpose in life to give and receive love and knowledge, Tim is going to put my face to the fire or my feet to the fire. I don't know how that goes, but he's going to drill and discover a little bit more as to why there are people who suffer from seasonal gratitude. Welcome, Tim, to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show.
Well, thank you, Lillian. I don't think we'll have your feet roasting by the open fire, but we'll have a little fun here today.
I know. We always have fun when you're on the show. So share a little bit about your background and what led you to want to be in the news and write about it.
Oh, well, I mean, I grew up reading the newspaper. Times were a lot different 20, 25, 30 years ago. You didn't have the internet. So every day I would look forward to opening the newspaper and reading about it. I grew up reading Florida Today. I said, I want to go to journalism school and I want to work for Florida Today someday. So that's exactly what I did. I went to the University of Florida's J School, one of the best in the country, go Gators.
Yeah.
And now here I am. I just surpassed my 15-year mark, and I'm the sports editor here at Florida Today. I'm the health editor. As you said, I write Daddy Duty. And recently I've taken on responsibilities as sports editor down at the Treasure Coast newspapers. So we cover Martin County, St. Lucie County, and Indian River County. So I 4-county range on the East Coast. So it's a lot of fun. I love it.
Well, I'm excited that I call you my Swiss Army knife because you do it all and you do it very well with a smile on your face. Now today, I mean, you always say, I don't know what I'm going to get when you write your article. So what was your thoughts that you had when you pulled this article of seasonal gratitude?
A little puzzlement at the headline. You always send your headline along with it, and it said, could you be suffering from seasonal gratitude? And I thought suffering was an interesting word to put with seasonal gratitude. So my first thought was, why did Lillian choose that wording? So why did you choose that wording?
Because we all heard about suffering from seasonal depression, which everybody hears about. Of course, every pharmaceutical industry would like for you to think that you're suffering from seasonal depression, which is they've discovered is a low D levels. You just need to be out in the sun a little bit more. And so I thought that we could also, with the stresses of the holidays, we could also be suffering from seasonal gratitude because there's a lot of stress associated with the holidays. I mean, I say the holidays because I'm including Thanksgiving all the way through New Year's. And so many people celebrate different kinds of holidays, not just Christmas and New Year's or Thanksgiving. And I want to be sensitive that a holiday is a holiday. And it doesn't matter what you celebrate, the fact that you celebrate makes it stressful at times. Let's say you've had a loss of income, a loss of a job change, a death in the family. It becomes stressful when you see everybody wishing you happy holidays, happy holidays. So that was just part of my idea of suffering from gratitude, seasonal gratitude.
Yeah, and I can certainly relate to that. I remember the first Christmas after my dad passed away. That was a really tough one because you're just used to your mom and dad, and they're there at Christmas, and it comes along, and you want to be merry, and you want to be happy with your family and your friends, but you know that a big part of your life is missing, and it's a sad thing to get through. But at the same time, the good thing about the holidays is there is so much joy. There's so many people who are happier at that time of year than they normally would be. But I think I had told you this previously, but when I started reading your column, you put a line that said, give me more until we are crying in a fetal position because we are still not happy and might feel empty. And all I could think of was Charlie Brown telling Linus, I know I should be happy, but I'm not.
I know. And so that's what we're going to be talking about. And I'm going to hand over the reins to you, Mr. Walters, because you're, this one, we did our television show together. You're on the Florida Today Network, WEFS.
EFS TV, Channel 5 on Bright House. And
we just recorded that one for the show, for this article. And I saw that you highlighted so much stuff. So I thought we'll have a little bit more time to discuss it this time. And we're going to continue our conversation about the dissection of my latest Florida Today article called, Could You Be Suffering from Seasonal Gratitude? And we're going to continue our conversation worldwide at whenyounneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. Now, okay, so here we are off the air. Now, I want for everybody to see what it is that you do when we were together, and it was about a year that we were airing. You're already getting ready for this. And the two of us are Muppet watchers. And so we would do the Muppet dance, but you got to speak when you say it, because if you don't say something, maybe do the theme song of the Muppets, you have to, you're going to have to, no, but you can't just do that because you can't see it. So you have to say something.
Well, you would have to be playing the music. Be right here waiting for you. It's time to hit the music. It's time to light the lights. It's time to on the Muppet Show tonight. I don't remember all the words.
I know you can only sing about 10 seconds because then you'll have to pay royalties. But every time Tim and I are together, and because the show is now in Brevard County, in Jacksonville, we're not in the station together, but that was one of the things. And so whenever the song comes on, I get to see him do the Muppet dance, da, 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 and they would have these little zingers. And so Tim and I that was just one thing that we used to do when we were together. So are you ready, Tim? Are you ready to take on the reins when we come back from the Lillian McDermott radio show?
Absolutely.
I'm giving it to you right from the beginning instead of the last segment.
Okay, no problem.
Ready?
I just need a cue when to come in, I guess.
You'll hear the music. Brian, will you be able to cue him? Can you hear the music?
On what? The music's not on yet.
Yeah, no. What? Okay. So Tim is going to start off, and he's going to take over the show. It's a hostile takeover that I'm willingly giving up.
Okay.
So I don't know. When the music comes on, just let Brian know if you can hear it or not.
Okay.
How much time do we have?
Wait, do you want to hear the music?
He does, because
okay.
Yeah,
I'll need to know when to come in, or you can just send me a message that says go.
No, you'll hear the music. It's on in 5 seconds.
So this is what happens off the air. You get to watch that as well. So Tim, I'm really excited. Whoop, here we go. Time to dance. You can count on me. I'll be right here
waiting for you. You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
That's it.
All right. Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott radio show. And I am Tim Walters. I am not Lillian McDermott, but we appreciate you being here on this best day ever. Sorry, Lillian, I have to steal your wonderful line. I love hearing that.
Yeah.
And so we are talking about your article this week, which I want to remind people, if you want to read it right now, you can see it at floridatoday.com/health. or at whenyounneedafriend.com, Lillian's website. We have a video that we recorded that will be on TV this week on WEFS TV on the Florida Today Show at 5:30 p.m. So Lillian's everywhere, radio, TV, Florida Today, you name it. So this week her article is titled, Could You Be Suffering from Seasonal Gratitude? And we took on the headline in the first segment. We talked a little bit about your intro, but now it's time to delve a little bit deeper into your article. You know, we've got Thanksgiving coming up. It's just 2 weeks away from tomorrow. Holy cow, are we ready? And then Christmas. And this is the longest amount of time between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Thanksgiving's on the 23rd this year, and then you get to Christmas. And next year you lose 6 days. So I'm sure, the stores aren't happy about that. But, the Thanksgiving happens on the Thursday when they tell us. So your article is looking at, seasonal gratitude, people who, might not be as happy as others are during the year. And, you say and this is quoted from your article, this is the time of year when the expectation to be jolly can lead to depression and anxiety. This can happen especially if you experienced a loss. So we talked a little bit about that earlier.
Yeah.
But then you say happiness can come from things we buy. So now we're getting into the next section of your article where we talk about presents and people thinking that things, material things might be the answer. And a lot of times they're just not. So, take us through the next part of your article where you discuss, maybe where can people find happiness other than just from things that are bought at this time of year?
Well, that is the what marketing and the media wants us to believe. They want us to believe that if we buy the latest thing, and our children, oh my God forbid, we can't afford to buy the gifts. Many of people are still paying for last year's holidays. And so this is something that my heart has desired for a long time. My kids know this, that I don't necessarily need a physical gift. Time together, creating experiences together, those sometimes don't cost a thing. And I think we have put an equal value to physical gifts or financial gifts versus time. And I think that we're trying to fill that void in our life with things and nothing. And then there's the pharmaceutical industry that's coming up with the latest, greatest pill that you can take and that'll make you be happy. And I'm not minimizing someone who is taking medicine for them short term. But medicines are not created for long term. There's other things that we can do to dig deeper, to figure out why we are unhappy. And so when I'm looking at this seasonal gratitude, that's when I see people in soup kitchens and giving gifts and doing things that are very in the moment. I organize Christmas caroling every year for people who are dying, sick and dying. And it is that's when my Christmas begins. I'm in the moment experiencing the joy and the energy that comes around us. But something has happened along the way, Tim, and I don't know if you have experienced this as well, which is it's become all about money. And I guess it's the word I'm trying to is escaping my mind right now, but it's okay. How much money did I spend, and how much did I get? And that's what it seems to have been. And I'm trying to the word is trying to escape me.
It's almost materialism.
Materialism.
Yeah.
That's it. Thank you.
Well,
I knew I'd get the word from you, Mr. Editor.
Well, I wanted to touch. I think you make a great point because. When I look, I just turned 40 earlier this year. And
yeah, don't rub it in. Don't rub it in.
Well, when I look back at all of the Christmases that, that I've had over my 4 decades now, and you think about the things that you remember most, at Thanksgiving, I remember, the turkey, the smell of the food cooking, the all day experience of watching the parade and spending time with family and then eating. Those are the things I remember. Christmas dinner. I don't remember what I opened under the tree. I'm sure that, as a kid made me super happy and that was awesome. And then into my 20s and 30s, but I can barely remember what I got last year. But you were talking about caroling. My wife goes out caroling in downtown Melbourne. And, it's a lot of fun. She goes along with a group. And, I might slip into a pub, grab a pint every now and again, because no one wants to hear me sing. But, it's just those experiences that you're doing those things. And so that's what I remember with Christmas and Thanksgiving. And they push all of the things and they don't push the experiences. And, I think that if you ask most people, what do you remember about Christmas 10 years ago? They're not going to say, oh, I opened, the new TV they're going to say, gosh, I remember I was at grandma's house and she made me that casserole and now grandma's gone, that type of thing. So I think you hit on a wonderful point there that, it is those experiences that really make the holidays. And people are so stressed about having to buy the presents and find the things and do all of this. They forget what's really important, and that's the family and the other reasons that we have the holidays.
Yeah. And one of the things that I gently touch upon in the article is the fact that the pharmaceutical industry and all the commercials that we're going to see from this point on and every day, it's all about taking that pill to make you happy. And there is no pill that can do what nutrition does, what sleep does, what being in the moment does, but even deeper, dealing with childhood traumas that we don't want to look at, unresolved issues, lack of forgiveness, anger, resentment, unwillingness to accept what is going on in your life. At that moment, it doesn't matter what pill you're taking. And that's the big myth. And many psychiatrists that have come on my show have said, people are just sad. They don't know how to resolve their issues. And I promise you that if you get someone to work through these issues, joy will come. But the body will not let you forget what the mind wants to neglect. And it's so important that be real and embrace what is. And honestly, you're absolutely right. I don't remember the physical gifts, the material gifts that I received, but I remember the love letters. There was a year when we end the Christmas holidays or the holiday season, I grew up celebrating Epiphany, January 6th. And one year when the kids were younger, I said, there was always one gift under the Christmas tree for the kids. And I said, this year, no gifts. We're going to do love letters. I remember looking around the table, and I still get emotional, and seeing my kids just bawling. And I was bawling because that does not translate. The material stuff that we get does not translate when it comes to a gift. Give me a gift, you can buy a gift, I can buy the gift. But taking the time to tell somebody how much you love them and how much they mean to you is priceless. And I'm so sorry to get emotional, but that's the stuff that brings my joy to that next level where I can't even control my tears.
I agree, and I think that's the point we also see in a lot of Christmas movies and things like that is, they try and show you, you take It's a Wonderful Life, for example, you show these people and, it's not until so many things happen that they actually kind of realize what's truly important. And, I did want to bring up one line in your column where you said, what if we could maintain that joyful feeling and create a year-long attitude of gratitude? And
yes.
It is an unfortunate thing that people, don't kind of keep that feeling year round. And maybe we wouldn't get the depression at the holidays because you're not trying to cram all of your, love and all of your into 2 months, you keep it year round.
Yes.
I shared lyrics from a song with you when we taped our TV segment. I'd like to share
Yeah.
it with the listeners now. For those who listen to Trans-Siberian Orchestra music during the holidays, and I love their holiday music, they have a song on their first album from, I believe it was 1996 or 8, somewhere in that general. It's called Old City Bar. And one of the lines in it says, if you want to arrange it, this world, you can change it. If we could somehow make this Christmas thing last by helping a neighbor or even a stranger, and to know who needs help, you need only just ask. It's that spirit. They're saying, why don't we hold that spirit year round? And it's really a shame that people can't find that type of kindness and love for their neighbor all year round.
And that is why I believe that seasonal gratitude, came about in that name. I remember I was awakened by I was asleep, and that thought came to my mind. We hear all about seasonal depression. And so we hear that, and we're educated on it, and we understand it. And so, but seasonal gratitude, to just be grateful once a year, and then what happens to these soup kitchens at the end of the year? What happens to all year round? All the people I don't carol all year round. Everybody tells me you should do the caroling, because I get a big group together. And I remember the first time I was 19, the first time I did this. And I've been doing this since I was 19, and now I'm 54. So it's been a while, at least more than 10 years. And that's when Christmas begins for me. And I don't want to just say Christmas. There are other holidays that people celebrate. And so I'll say the holidays. I know that people make a big deal of Happy Holidays, Merry Christmas, Happy God. Well, it doesn't matter. Whatever it is, because there are people who celebrate a secular winter, a secular Christmas, or whatever it is. So here's what I want to encourage for this season of gratitude, is that every day, to find something every day that we can be grateful for. One of the tips that I share on my article is, when I wake up in the morning, before I grab all the burdens, before you grab all your burdens, say thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you for whatever is coming today. And that just changes your frame of mind. And if we can say thank you and be grateful every day, can you imagine what the rest of the year would be like? And I know that there are moments of sadness, but we need to take these moments of gratitude, these moments that are our oasis. And sometimes we're in a desert of things that are not just, they're just, oh, okay, big deal, not a big deal today, right? But go through those deserts and picture these oases. Look at a baby playing that doesn't have any judgment or any attitude. Just watch them. Or a puppy, an animal, whatever it is, and it'll fill you with that joy again, because our bodies have a cell memory too, and we can go back to those moments that brought us joy. And your body doesn't know if it's happening today or it happened 10 years ago. It'll still experience that great joy. Just like I became overwhelmed with those love letters, you can too. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Walters of Florida Today, Daddy Duty, when we return worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. We'll be right here waiting for you. I am so sorry, Tim. I just got so emotional.
Oh, that's all right. It kind of reminds me of the scene in the movie Scrooged with Bill Murray, where, he's the highfalutin TV executive, and they're doing a Christmas Story, or what's the one? Ebenezer Scrooge live on TV, and then he breaks in at the very end because he finally figures out the meaning of Christmas. And he's talking about when you experience it, you're going to want it. You're going to want it year round. And he's crying. And so that's what I was thinking about when you were having your moment, was, the emotion, the raw emotion that comes out when people actually kind of get it and understand.
Just let it go. I mean, it is, doing the radio show, there has to be a level of, I can't let this affect me. I need to report on it. You know what I mean? But when I went there, it's so easy. You see, this is the thing. This is the key. Our minds do not know if it's happening now or it happened 40 years ago. The body will still react to it. And if we allow it to stay within us and ferment what happens when you have food poisoning? What is the best way to feel better when you have food poisoning?
I don't know if I want to say that on the air.
Oh, well, we're not on the air right now. We're on we're on being recorded. So
Sure.
what is the best way, Tim?
You got to get it out of you.
And how do you get it out of it? You got to just throw it up.
I was going to say, it might come out both ends. Who knows?
I wasn't expecting that one.
Well, see, that's why I didn't want to say it.
Well, this is going to go on. This is going to be a video for people to watch if they want to watch it. But
bonus footage.
hey, listen, this is much better than go F yourself, right?
Do we still have 2 segments left, or was there? I thought there was going to be a sponsored piece coming up.
You know what? We've switched it to the 14th, so I'm glad that actually
good.
Yeah, no, we got full.
Excellent.
We got
it's going to take a while to break down your acronym of gratitude. That might take 2 segments.
Yeah. Well, let's see if we can make it quicker. Some of the things on the article that we didn't talk on the air is basically figure out when you're the happiest and duplicate that every day. You know, it's interesting, Tim. I woke up on Monday with a really bad sore throat. And of course, you know, from my accident, I have 4 herniated discs. And so I was my neck was hurting, and I went to the gym. And, you know, on Friday, I told you that I had gone to this gala. And so here I am on Monday, and I was on cloud 9 from this gala. As you can tell, I was still, in cloud 9. This was after I saw you when we taped the television show. So I had already resolved this in my head. But I wasn't feeling well. And this guy who normally says hello to me asked me how was my weekend. And I didn't even tell him about my mountaintop experience at this gala, Doctors Who Rock. And I started telling him about my throat hurting and I'm like, how long did that last? How long did that last? And all of a sudden I started feeling like negative. And I thought, this is not what I choose. And I started thinking, how long did that mountaintop experience last? Have you ever experienced that, Tim, where you're just so excited and someone comes to you and they ask you how you're doing and you start telling them what's wrong in your life?
No, I generally, honestly, I try to be cognizant of that. So,
Yeah.
You know, probably not in the last few years. I'm sure it used to happen with me a lot, but I always tell people, that are close to me who start complaining. It's like, nobody wants to hear you complain. You're bringing me down. So I'm pretty blunt with people because you know me. I mean, I try and have a positive attitude.
Yeah.
And I don't mind if people vent a little bit, but when they go on, and sometimes even my wife is guilty of it. And then I'll say, hey, try being, the next thing you say, make it positive. And then it hits her, gosh, all I've done is complain tonight. So
yeah.
I say, hey, look at how happy Isabella is. And then, it kind of dawns on her that I'm trying to quash
just shift it. Shift it. Yeah, shift it.
It
and
works.
it works. It really does. Here we go. So I'll do my social media and then you can take over.
I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959. Once again, here's Lillian.
Welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show, where you can hear us worldwide at whenyouneedafriend.com. I am your host, Lillian McDermott, and it is my goal that to learn something new from everybody I meet. That is my goal. That is my purpose. When I meet with you, I want to learn something from you because everybody is a teacher. Everybody is a student. And so I want to encourage you to go through life with childlike wonder. Look at a child today. Watch them play. They don't have any judgment. They don't know who's next to them. Everybody is a friend. And so I want to encourage you to adopt that feeling every day of your life. And today's teacher is Tim Walters, my Swiss Army knife of editors for Florida Today. And today we're discussing and dissecting my latest article. Could you have seasonal gratitude? And the goal is to have gratitude all year long, not just at the end of the year when the holidays are around or whenever there's a holiday, all year round. And so I want to encourage you to continue this conversation off the air, on the air, by going to whenyouneedafriend.com. This is where we take 100% responsibility for our life. Check out, become a subscriber, check out my sponsors, make sure you support them as they are supporting the show so that we can talk about this every day. Start the day with some good news. But not only that, there's other ways that you can be a part of my life through social media. So like me on social media, become a subscriber. If you have any thoughts or ideas, you can feel free to call, leave a message, or text me at 407-373-5959. You can watch the show on YouTube, also on demand as well. So there's no excuse. We can stay connected 24/7. So today I have my Swiss Army knife of editors, Tim Walters of, they can't see you when you're not talking, but I see, but it's so nice, like, see him face to face when we do our interviews. But so here's the deal. I'm going to hand everything over to him right now because he's the one that edits my work to make sure that I've done and said the things that I need to say or whatever it is. He's pretty good at just leaving my articles alone, though. I really like that about him. And so today we were talking about my latest article. And thank you so much, Tim, I know you're really busy, but you take the time to dissect the article with me a little bit more, because I only have so many words that I always extend a little bit more, huh?
Absolutely. And no, I appreciate you always having me on your radio show once a month. I mean, it's beneficial for both of us because I love to talk about your articles. It's great to have you on our TV show. It's great to be on your radio show. And it's good to tell people out there, you go to floridatoday.com and check out all the good stuff that we have, including Lillian and so much more. So
yes. And then also our television. And also you're on television with me too this Sunday, right?
On WEFS TV, and it's aired at 5:30 p.m. And we also put that half-hour TV show is up on our website as well. So, a lot of ways to see you and I interact. And this great video that we're doing here, like you said, people on the radio can't see us, but we are looking at each other through the magic of the internet. And I believe this is being recorded, right?
Yes, it is. It is. And it'll be on Facebook, and it'll also be, if you go to whenyouneedafriend.com, you can click on YouTube. And so one of the things that you said during the break to me was that you wanted to make sure we got through my latest acronym. So go ahead, take over.
Absolutely. So, and before we get to that, I just want to, right before break, you were making a point, and I just wanted to tell people, and talking about seasonal gratitude, having been in the news business for a long time, this is a story that we seemingly do right after New Year's every year, and that's that soup kitchens for 2 months are inundated with cans and food and turkey and you name it. But once January 2, 3, 4 gets here, those places are bare and they need donations because all of a sudden the seasonal gratitude goes away and they don't get the help that they need. So make sure, keep in mind, if you're somebody who likes to give and feel good about giving, think about doing it in January, February, March for these soup kitchens that do help out a lot of people, that do a lot of good, and that need our help more than just in November and December.
Yes, I'd like to add, Tim, to that because our love letters that started when their kids were little, instead of having a material epiphany, we would have a love emotional epiphany. And it's evolved. That has evolved as well, where we come together and we do something nice. So we have served January 6th or sometime after that, we serve at soup kitchens, or we've even gone to the Ronald McDonald Home to make lunches or dinners for the people there that are struggling and suffering, watching their children that are sick. And Ronald McDonald houses them for a nominal fee and sometimes even for free. They help them out. So there's so many different things that we hang on to. And when we give, we give a gift of a time together. That's been our gift of experiences. So we do it like in the middle of the year. So we sell it. We give, the gifts are actually received or redeemed like anytime during the year. So it's really exciting to make the holiday season last the year round. So
you practice what you preach.
That's, sometimes I can. Sometimes I can. So go ahead.
All right. So we'll get into your latest acronym, which is gratitude. So we take the letters of gratitude and break it down. Now, this is a little bit more wordy than your normal acronyms, but we'll take it letter at a time. So the G is give your body nutritious foods. Learn about whole food, plant-based nutrition.
Yes.
So that's something to help you be happy.
Yes, absolutely. And I also want to add to that, Dr. Joel Furman, who talks about a nutritarian diet, is going to be at the Villages. I'll get all the information. It's on my website. It's Presbyterian. It's called Look Good, Feel Good, and it's Lady Lakes. And it's very close to where we live. So many of us can drive over there tomorrow. Believe we're going to do the show live together in Lady Lakes. This is the first time that we're face to face after 2 years of doing the show together. So it'll be fun. So if anybody wants to go there, I will have the information after the next break. That way people know, or you can go to facebook.com, Lillian's radio show, and the information will be there as well. But field trip time, and you can learn how to be a nutritarian. So yes, give the body nutritious foods. I did the article about are you chemotherapy deficient? Do you know that tree that was dead, that I told you about, my dead tree, I'm doing a little documentary on it. So I replanted it and I put it in a bigger pot, because sometimes we outgrow our pot, and I'm not talking about weed. I'm talking about our life. We outgrow our pot, our friends, and we need to get transplanted into a bigger pot. And so I transplanted the tree, the little Christmas tree, into a bigger pot, put some fertile soil, gave it a lot of water, and it's getting green.
There you go.
Yes, and everything is organic. Everything is I put it out in the sun. So our bodies will react better than a tree. So it's very quick, painless, and something we can do. So Dr. Joel Furman will be there tomorrow to give a talk. It's a 2 or 3 hour talk. So it's, it's really important for us to attend. Okay, so there we go.
Yeah, that's all right. My first job was in the Villages. I worked at their newspaper for 2 years. It's
Love it.
Right on 441, 20 minutes south of Ocala. So really easy to get to.
That's right. That's right.
The R, replenish your spirit. Journal, meditate, dance, sing, sleep, walk, or just breathe.
Yeah. It's not sleepwalk, but it's sleep.
Sleep, comma, walk.
I have been known to sleepwalk, though. And many of us are sleepwalking too. We're not aware of what's happening in our life. And so I want to encourage people to do something. It's called self-care. And so I want to encourage that R in gratitude. The first G is to give your body nutritious food. The R is replenish your spirit. And so do anything you can to start, because many of us go through life with emotional bankruptcy, and it is time to replenish.
In gratitude, I really like this one, and I'll tell you why. A is acknowledge a higher power. Take the steps toward your personal journey. Mm-hmm. So many people, in the Catholic Church, they call them creasters, people that go to church just on Christmas and Easter.
Oh, that's a new one.
Yeah, and I think if people truly want to feel that spirituality, then you have to go more than just 2 days a year. Because you start to feel that sense of community. You start to know the people that sit in the pews. And all of a sudden, your community starts to grow, and you start to meet people, and you find the exceptional things like that they do. Some do serve in soup kitchens. Some help the homeless. Some help the poor. Some, teach Bible studies. You start to meet all these people around you. So church isn't necessarily about the religious aspect. Of course, that's the center of it, but it's about the being with other people and meeting and reaching out and finding people who have similar interests or who can possibly help you find that happiness. So the acknowledge a higher power, I thought that one was very key to this.
Yes. And as you know, some of the articles that I've written in the past, that higher power takes on different meanings to everybody. And so I want to acknowledge that higher power in all of us. And we need to we don't need to, we get to embrace something bigger than us. Because if we think that we're as big as it gets, gosh, I would get depressed. I certainly would get really sad, because if I'm all there is, then that's not good. We have something higher than us that allows us to reach for that that intuition, that guidance, and that love. And we're going to continue our conversation with Tim Walters when we return. We're hoping to get through every single acronym letter, and we'll be right here waiting for you. Yes, you are right. There were a lot of
We
so
only got through gra. We still got tattooed to go.
tattooed. Hey, what did you
Tattooed.
think of my acronym for fart?
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't give you the acronym for fart, did I?
No, you just asked if you could have an acronym for fart and that you could extend it to farted. And no, I not that, nor flatulence. I think we have to avoid those. Sort of
Oh
things.
man, okay. Well, then I won't write that article. Maybe I'll just write it for my blog. I love your emoji with a hand over the forehead, like, oh boy, oh brother.
I can just imagine what my boss would come to me holding that paper saying, really? How could you have put,
Well,
he might
I was
even
just,
wrap me with.
yeah, well, it gives the meaning, because we always laugh about the arc. And why don't you share, since we're on a break right now, why don't you share the moments that I don't want you to remember about my articles, and moments that you caught me at, like, probably the most off guard moment when I talked about the article of embracing the F and S word, or S and F word.
Oh, you're talking about, probably our most memorable moment.
That's it. Go ahead.
Have heard it. Yeah, well, S and F obviously are exactly the S and the F word. What else could they be aside from forgive?
Yeah.
And
do you remember what the S word?
You know what? It's skipping me. I'm having
shame.
A total
It's shame.
brain,
It's shame.
I was
shame.
having a brain fart. Yeah, who could ever forget, right as we're going off the air, when you asked the people out in radio land, when was the last time you effed somebody? That just said it all.
Yeah, that was probably the first time in all the years that I've done the show where I stopped like a deer in the headlights, and I couldn't even speak after that. And I saw your face. You were mortified.
Did she just say what I think she said? Boy,
Yeah.
Imagine the person just tuning in who hadn't heard the show and had no idea what, you're just flipping through radio. Maybe you're waiting for the next show to come on. Peter Karasotis is coming on after you. And someone's like, oh, well, there's 2 minutes left of Lillian. And she just said, what?
And I remember the month after that, you came back on the show and said, you know how many people I've told this to? And they burst into laughter. I'm so glad that I was, for the last, I don't know how long, that we did that article. I don't even know when I wrote that article, but yeah, that's one of my moments, Tim, and I'm so glad that we spent it together. But the F word was forgive. And so forgive, and we had talked about the F word the whole entire time on the show, and the next thing you know, I used that. When was the last time you F someone? And the thought was, that sounded so much better in my head, but it's out there now.
Well, and you could have followed up, because people sometimes have to forget.
Here we go.
You can count on me. I'll be right here waiting for you.
You can take over, Tim.
You can text Lillian McDermott or leave her a voicemail at 407-373-5959.
See if you can do
Once
it.
again, here's Lillian.
And welcome back to the Lillian McDermott Radio Show. I'm Tim Walters, Lillian's guest this week, but I have taken over the show. Now,
Yes.
Lillian's right here with us, but we are talking about seasonal gratitude this week, and how people, for a couple of months during the year, they are ready to give and be happy and, get in that spirit. And then the other 10 months,
Not so much.
Go? Yeah, so we were working on your acronym for gratitude, each letter in gratitude, breaking down to make a point in your column. So G was give your body nutritious foods, R was replenish your spirit, and A was acknowledge a higher power. So we got through grat last segment. Now we have to get through tattooed. So we'll start with the first T in tattooed, and that is think positive thoughts. Thoughts translate to equivalent feelings and actions. And, we were having this discussion earlier about, sometimes someone might ask you how you are, and you may be even in a good mood, but then you just start complaining about something, and it's like, people don't want to necessarily hear that. So talk about a little bit what we were discussing earlier too.
Well, I've said this before in the segment, in the earlier segment, that the body does not know, the brain does not know if it's happening now or if it's happening 40 years. Now, keep in mind that every time you have a thought, your body and your mind are acting as if it's happening now. So if you keep your thoughts positive, because even if I don't want to be negative, the brain doesn't recognize. So all I'm thinking is negative. So what we want to be is positive. So we have to be very guarded with our thoughts, because our thoughts become our feelings, and our feelings become our actions. So because I want to get through all these, I'll leave it at that. They'll just have to continue to listen to the show.
You should put that on a poster somewhere.
Yeah.
The I is imagine yourself where you want to be, and then take the proper steps to achieve it. And if you wouldn't mind, I'd like to discuss this one a little bit too, because so many people, they want to achieve things in life, and the first thing their brain tells them is, you can't do it, or there's no way, or my job doesn't let me. And the first step toward making something become a reality is to dream it and know what you want, and then take the steps toward making it happen. So many people think that it's too difficult to do those things in life, but instead of letting your brain tell you you can't, you have to figure out how you can. And I know that's the hard part, but if you don't embark on that journey to do it, then it will never happen, because you're just going to continue to talk yourself out of it. So that's my little thoughts on it. And,
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it. And you know what? It is the hard part if you want it to be the hard part. Those are the thoughts that we're planning in our brain. How about it? That's the fun part. Many of us have limiting beliefs that I want to do something, but they're thinking of the end result. And I've used this example before when I went hiking. I even wrote about hiking in Florida Today. So I write about all my experiences, and that's how I figure out my motivation to write. And so when I went on my hiking trip, I didn't start at the top of the mountain. My first call to action was to find some good shoes. And that is where I spent a little bit of time. And then I took those shoes, and then I went on the treadmill and I walked with those shoes. And so it wasn't starting there. We've got to write down the steps to get to that top of the mountain, whatever that top of the mountain is for us. And so that is breaking those limiting beliefs. And even instead of saying that that's the hard part, the fun part is figuring it out.
All right. The second T in gratitude is trust the process. And I know you've written about that before. I know that everything will work out for your good. And I think you had an entire article on the process.
Yes. Trust the process of life. Anytime you are in resistance of your life, misery will come through. There's one plaque that I have on my desk, and I'll grab it later, it says, trust the process. Whatever is happening to us, just know that it'll be for the good of all who love him. So we have to, or we get to, figure out the process while it's happening, and figure out ways that we can adjust so that we stop being in resistance. That make sense?
It does. And the U in gratitude is use your intuition. There is a voice of love inside you. Listen and respond. And that little voice, what a powerful little voice that is, because it almost like in the cartoons where you have the little devil and the little angel on each shoulder.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, a lot of people do listen to that little devil, but you find happiness, I think, if you listen to that little angel. And sometimes it might not be as fun, and sometimes it might not have the immediate rewards. But I think in the long run, doing the right thing and being the right person will always lead to more happiness than doing the easy way and listening to that bad voice telling you, do it for you, do it now.
Yeah. I had a guy on my show. I actually took a course from him, Mark. I'm trying to remember his last name, but Mark taught us that we have a committee in our head, and he talks to the committee, and there's a guy named Vic in his committee, and it's vicious inner critic. And Vic sometimes talks louder than everybody else, but then you also have to have the cheerleader. You also have to have the committee in your head. And so who is that voice in your head? Is it your mom, your dad, an abuser, or is it someone who just indulged everything? Like, you deserve it, you deserve it. So just get in tune with that voice in your head and let that voice be all about love, not fear.
All right. And the D is dedicate yourself to the service of others and self. Be sure to keep this in balance.
Yes. And I think we talked about this enough already about caroling and giving and the soup kitchens and all of that. But we also have to make sure that if you were to, like, quickly, I'll ask you the question, write the top 5 people in your life. Write it down really quickly right now. Write down the 5 top people. Think about them. Who are those top 5 people? And then when you look at these top 5 people, where did you put yourself? Are you even in the top 5? You should be number 1. And so I'm not talking about God and a higher power. I'm talking about in your earthly life. And so just make sure that you keep that in balance, okay?
All right. And the E, the final E in
Yay!
gratitude, is educate yourself to learn a new truth about alternative ways to heal and do it.
Absolutely. That is so important. Learn something new every day. Educate, especially when you break down those walls of limitations, you will learn, your life will just soar. So that's, like they say in Forrest Gump, that's all I know about that.
Well, there's a great line, okay, and just to tell people, this is Tim Walters for Florida Today,
yes,
and
Tim
Lillian's
Walters,
editor, of her monthly column. So just wanted to remind people for joining us, but we just got through doing our acronym on what gratitude means and breaking it down, and you follow up in your column with a great line that says, anything done with a grateful heart, without expectation, will change not only your life, but also those who observe you. It will help you discover your purpose and create your legacy.
I can't believe I wrote that, right?
Powerful statement. Wow.
I'm telling you, when I sit down, I'm just like an open vessel. Just use me, God. Just use me.
Well, that's amazing. And just kind of talk about that for a minute. I mean, what a profound statement.
Well, we're coming to the end, and I know that, this is I think the root of unhappiness is expectation, is thinking that something's going to happen and it doesn't happen the way you planned it, and all of a sudden nothing that was good matters. So I want us to become aware of what our expectation, what our purpose is, and stick to that intention. Be clear with your intention and let that intention be all about love. And
toward the closing, you say each morning when you first open your eyes, say thank you, thank you, thank you. And that also reminded me of another seasonal thing. It's something that's going on right now. It's the hashtag gratitude challenge, I believe is what it's called.
Oh, is it?
And it's where people each day, I think leading up till Thanksgiving, maybe.
There you go. That's seasonal gratitude.
Yeah, exactly. They put under hashtag gratitude challenge what they're grateful for that day. And then it does. It goes. It unfortunately goes away.
Well,
so I just wanted to give one line real quick. I know we're coming down to the end. This is another thing from Trans-Siberian where it says, it's every gift that someone gives, expecting nothing back. It's every kindness that we do, each simple little act.
Love it. Love it. Tim, I love it when you're on the show, and I'm looking forward to our next conversation. To you, my listening friend, we live in the state of Florida, but if you're going to live in any state, let it be the state of gratitude. That is the best state to live in. This is Lillian McDermott wishing you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance. Make it the best day, ever. Yay. We got through it, Tim.
Sorry,
no, that's okay.
Down until too late.
That's okay. That's okay. Listen, I want to show you my little plaque. I don't know. In one of my articles, this little plaque that I have. I don't have anything else on my desk. Well, I do have a mug that says "Best Day Ever." Somebody sent
the process.
A fan sent me "Best Day Ever" mug, but this is my Trust the Process. Someone gave me this, and this little flower, and I used to have like a little Sharpie that you can, like a eraser. This was like an eraser board. And every time my cleaning lady, she would clean trust the process off, and then I would have to rewrite it. And so finally I put it in a Sharpie pen so that it's there, and it's there to remind me anytime we feel discomfort, Tim, anytime. I mean, think about some of the things we talked about that were time sensitive. You know, we want something now. We want it to happen now. And I just recently shared this with my health coach. I said, because he said, you know, you need to become patient. And I said, oh, I'm very patient. I just want health now. And he said, that is the funniest thing ever. And so, and it's true. We want it now, but to be in alignment with what is will allow us to be grateful, and will allow us to be thankful, and will allow us to embrace the moment and actually feel, you know, when we are in that disalignment, you know, this was supposed to happen now and it hasn't happened now. Feel your body. You understand? I mean, think about any time in your life, Tim, that has happened to you.
Sure. Lily, actually, I hate to cut this short.
Okay.
I have a 9 o'clock I have to run to.
No problem.
I did just want to make you aware of one thing with your slogan of the best day ever.
Yes.
They stole that on a TV commercial for a place in Orlando called The Fun Spot. And that's how the guy ends it. It's the best day ever.
You know, I know. When I started doing this, nobody was doing best day ever. And then all of a sudden I'm finding everybody saying this is the best day ever. I can't imagine that they found me and they're copying that. But, you know, when I start hearing them say, I wish you love, peace, joy, and unexpected abundance, then I'll go, they are stealing my line.
Maybe you need to trademark your lines then.
Yeah.
Right, Lillian, thank you so much.
Thank you, Tim. Take care. Bye.
Bye.